getting back into it. So where we landed last week, after the planet was decimated in the blink of an eye, with everything, every roof structure, building, mode of transport, even some trees that people were under, collapsing and being reclaimed as materials to build this dungeon that
Is
you've
that all?
currently entered into. Some of you left families behind, some of you brought your families with you, but have currently been separated from them. Others don't know where your close loved ones, whether they survived or not, but you've been amongst the intrepid few of Earth that have descended into these portals for one reason or another, whether that's for fame and fortune, out of altruistic tendencies, or some other motivation. Your mixed group has been thrown together, and you've found that it's the same people that you remember having a really vivid dream with, that you're all coming to the realization that was probably real. Um, so coming into that, you found yourself in the first level of this dungeon, having descended a staircase that had some engravings and depictions of a very demonic looking fish race that all you've seen so far from a system message is that they are called the Kuatin, and that is the race that runs the Borant Corporation, who is overseeing this current version of the Fall season Earth. You manage to just wander your way around the dungeon with a bright light at the end of Zachary's. I think it was a wanderer flower or something that was broadcasting quite a bright light, and you stumbled across a bunch of friendly skeletons that you made their acquaintance. Bless you. There's a couple of you who took some damage as a result of that fight. Others came out of it unscathed. And when we left off, the loot had been divvied up that you were able to find amongst the remains, including 15 pounds of scrap metal that
Still not going to be
Ali
able to
the
get me,
raccoon
boy.
has has uh, has shoved into her equivalent of the bag of holding. And the last we left off was that Rick had started heading down the hallway, and was next to Zach. And we left off that Rick was keen to move on out of that room. Zach was questioning whether the group would consider just resting up a little bit because some people were hurt. And that's where we left off. So this is where you are. You've cleared this room, this section of the dungeon, as best you're aware. What would you like to do now?
Um, yeah, fucking Rick, you're the injured ones. Do you want to rest a bit or keep moving? Do you feel like how to keep moving?
Rick, covered in blood, like swollen eye, massive, like his lip is basically split in two, blood covered knuckles, looks you dead in the eye and just says, I'm fine.
If Rick was an NPC, I'd be telling you that he was badly injured.
Rick doesn't only have a third of his hit points left. I'm fine. We got better things to do.
Just
Go.
walk it off.
It's no problem.
Do we? Okay, so this is something that I do need to ask. Do we understand the intricacies of the rules of this dungeon? Like, if we sleep for X amount of time, we will get some sort of healing benefit from that.
Yeah,
Given
so
that we're just normal people.
Inherently, with your understanding from having entered into the portal and the basically the dump of a universe of lore that sits around the necessary aspects of it that come into your characters, the new people you become. Yes, you are aware of how you've got that reflexive ability to understand your abilities and know that they're there without having to scroll through menus. You understand the need for rest and the benefits of that, including the time frames of them, both short and long. So you've got that inherent understanding, essentially, of a dungeon crawler entering into the portal.
So it's like just implanted in our brain, like.
Yep, you basically got that shit matrixed as someone who entered the portal and chose a race and class, even if you just swiped through the default options like Rick did.
Alright, so you want to keep moving? I can take point if you want.
I'll look back at the group and just say, "What do you guys want to do? I'm fine."
Rick's fine.
As he says the word "fine," some blood just
drips onto the cobblestones,
sort of
puddling slowly around his feet.
I'll take him
sort
at
of just
his
runs
word.
down his chin.
Rick wouldn't lie.
It's like it's the other guys. He's fine.
Yeah.
So is anybody moving? Because our current marching order is we've got Zach and Rick are currently about 10 feet down the hallway that you entered this room In
Right.
Ivy's just behind Zachary.
I-
Ali is still in the room, and Fokionis is still almost in the center of the room. Ali is where she finished looting 15 pounds of scrap metal.
I actually don't even think I have that in my inventory, but anyway.
Is fucking nice one okay to keep moving, or does it
Oh,
want to
yeah.
Oh,
Point to Fock. You good?
Fock,
Good, bro.
seeing that his fellow companion has been quite stoic, decides that he probably shouldn't mess about and be the same. And,
Peer pressure for the win.
Peer pressure.
Right.
Never killed anyone.
Toxic masculinity gonna get us a TPK, baby.
Right, take out your wet, and I'll lead the way down and around the corner. To
Okay.
the left.
All right. So, as a group, are you staying currently the way you are with the two of you in the front, or are you taking the lead, Zach? Because I'll just move you as a group if you're just staying as you currently are.
See, currently it's fine.
Yep.
I think.
All right.
Yeah, of me.
Okay.
I will clarify that Rick has like ripped up like part of like a shirt or something he has. Just like
Yep.
one of his spare shirts, and is like bandaging his head as they walk with like this ripped up bit of shirt.
I'd like to say, seeing this, Ivy slowly reaches out a hand and just like touches the back of Rick and
Yep.
uses cure wounds.
Okay. I'll roll it up. Either do it however you would like to do it, whether you want to do it in Foundry or do the dice roll or do it in D&D Beyond, but just let us know how much he heals as a result.
Do it.
So did we get an outcome of how much he healed?
I think you think that your mute button's not working, or is working.
I hit the wrong button. No, sorry. We were quickly doing the health thing in the room, so you guys could move on. I got 8 back.
Oh, you're waiting for you.
Yeah, I wanted just to have that information on hand as well, just to keep it all rolling.
Background. That was
all right. Well, if you can update yourself as you go. So as you've come around the corner here, it's a really well lit space. Has Zachary still got the 20-foot radius light going there, Egg?
I don't know if it's well lit. I'm like, he'll like put it like up his sleeve or something, put it away.
It's extremely well lit. You can't see the sources of that light, even though it's flickering as if by quite bright torchlight or almost firelight, but there's no clearly visible source of where that light's coming from. So when you've walked around that corner, there was the passageway, obviously, where you entered. There was another one directly opposite where you found the skeletons, and then you've come around into the very well lit section that leads to a set of stairs that are about 15 feet in height, but they descend down at an angle towards quite a narrowing of the hallway at the base of the stairs. It's a little bit less well lit at the base, but it is still very clearly lit. That's what you're faced with. A very broad stairwell, but when you get to the bottom of those stairs, if you do decide to continue, you are close enough and it's well lit enough to see all of you that you will need to proceed through that funnel essentially one at a time. You won't be able to proceed two abreast like you could in the wider hallway.
Right.
Rick will step forward if that's okay.
Mhm.
And like strapped to the top of his backpack, he has his bedroll. I'll take the bedroll off.
Mhm.
I'll take another step forward, and I will huck it through the opening and let it like bounce through, just to make sure it's like 10 I'll just...
Look, and with how dexterous Rick is and how easy that throw is, it just goes down, sails through, bounces on the way through on the stonework in the middle of it, and rolls to a stop 5 feet past the tunnel. Sorry, not tunnel, the funnel. Nothing happens.
Yep, I'll take that at face value.
Okay.
Oh, checking for traps. Oh, guys.
It's not a bad idea because that could have gone really badly if there was stuff in the
Yep.
skeleton room. I was wondering, like, oh, yeah, good thing there's no trap in there. So you've the bedroll's currently through. Are you going to continue walking down? Are you staying there to see what anyone else does? What now? Now that the bedroll's through the tunnel.
I'll just go straight
Funnel.
through. If I can see the other side, I don't take my wand out. But if I can, I do.
Yeah, if you step
Yeah.
across, you've got a clear line of sight. You
Right.
can see through. It's duller through there than what it was in the room you're currently in. But you can see the bedroll there. You can see it's unharmed, and you can see it
Alright,
pass
yeah,
through unharmed.
I
It's just a
follow
bit shadowy,
the
like a
bedroll
dim fluorescent, as opposed to a bright light. All right, so Zachary just going straight down to where the bedroll landed.
Yeah,
Yep, he's
I could go wrong.
standing there at the bedroll. What's everyone else doing?
I'll follow.
Currently, where you are, no one else can. Are you going to move forward just so everyone else can get through?
Of course.
Yep. All right. So Rick's through.
I'm following.
All
I
right.
guess we're all following. Yeah.
Ali's come through. Fokionis has come through. Ivy's coming through. Ivy's now got bat wings. Okay, so from where you guys are here, those of you, and I believe it's Rick and Ivy, who have the reasonably higher passive, I think it's perception skill. I believe it's the two of you. You don't see or hear anything super clearly, but you can hear what sounds like a distant tapping. It almost sounds like someone trying to make the noise of a hoof striking stone, like in Monty Python when they're clapping the coconut husks together, except it's very slow. So it's a very slow, and it's intermittent. You're catching it every now and then. Doesn't sound really close. It's like a middle distance. It's sort of echoing a bit through all of the different corridors that are surrounding you. You don't have a pinpoint on exactly where, but you can just sort of hear that sound. It's just odd. It strikes you as odd, and you both catch it.
I'll stop and make everyone else aware of it, I guess.
Like a clock ticking?
No, it literally sounds like every now and then a couple of coconut husks are being clip-clopped together, like making the noise of a horse walking.
Brave Sir Robin.
Yeah. That's
Rick,
the best
right.
description I can give you of
Might
the
be-
sound.
Yeah, might be more skeletons. You should move cautiously.
Yep. I'll pick up my bedroll, step in front of where Zachary is, and huck it into the next area.
So
And
you're
just let
throwing it. So, so the. I wish there was
Dungeon
a trap
101,
there now.
guys.
I wish there was a trap there. The bedroll lands into what is the center now of another really well lit area. So you've gone a little bit dim, and there's a diamond of light. Again, unsure of the sources. You can clearly see that there's two of those really heavy concrete tombs that you saw look very similar to the ones that the skeletons were in. The skeleton room, the tomb lids were ajar or off. In these ones, they appear to be sealed shut from where you currently are. The bedroll lands between them, and nothing happens.
Alright, so
I wish
yeah,
something did happen.
I move forward, but try to not make much sound, stinkily.
Yep. So where are you moving to? Where the bedroll's essentially in the brightest lit section between the two.
We can't let
I walk past the
tombs.
bedroll. I'm like, yeah, there's no traps here. They're keep
Yep.
just through the whole room.
Ignoring the bedroll,
what?
Rick is a horribly curious person. I'm going to go to the tomb on what would be our left. So the
Yep.
top one.
The top one. Yep.
I'm going to have a look at it.
Yep.
Curious.
So
I could go
are you taking a casual glance, or do you want to do a thorough investigation? Because
Casual glance for now.
Yep. Okay. So you have a look at it. There's a brass nameplate on the top of it, but it's blank. And there doesn't seem to be any seams or gaps in this. It honestly looks like a block of concrete that has been shaped into what a tomb would look like. There doesn't appear to be any any like moving parts or any way for that lid to come off like it has in the previous ones. At a casual glance, it looks almost like a tomb version of the roadside concrete barriers that keep you from going off road.
We shouldn't.
It- Does it
Zachary,
look?
No, you go, Joe.
Does it kind of remind me of like what you'd get like if you like were playing a video game and you went to like a graveyard where there had to be tombs, but clearly like they're never gonna open, so they're just set dressing. Like
Yep, that's it reminds you. That is a very good way of putting it, but also reminds you of the dream where there were these elements that seemed quite thorough and well put together, and then there were others that were just there for flavor or for atmosphere. And when you looked a bit closer, the attention to detail wasn't there in it. They were really almost there like a prop. They
lazy
were there
devs. got it.
because something or
Lazy.
someone felt that they should be.
Startup company. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Now,
Hey, gameplay's
Zach-
good. That's all that matters.
Zachary, I've placed you just past the bedroll. Is that where you were looking to go, or were you looking to go a little bit
A
further?
bit further, yeah.
All right, still staying
the
in the middle,
next
or are you kind
corridor.
of leaning? You're
Zachary,
heading
used
sort
to
of.
cut price props for magic shows. Does this seem something that is gonna? What do you mean, Pa? Don't play that with me.
So to about there, is that where you're talking?
Well, like, I'm moving like cautiously, so I'll like poke my head out first, and then step out.
Yep. Okay, so when you poke your head out, coming around that corner, you surprise the living shit out of
Oh,
a skeletal looking horse that has a couple of bags attached to its side, and it appears to only have one horseshoe on it, so it's making this odd sound as it stops dead in its tracks. And behind it, you can sort of see some shadowy forms. You can't clearly see exactly what they are, but you can hear them making some. Oh, actually, let me see what languages you speak. No, you can't make out anything. It's not loud. You'd be the only one of the group that could hear it currently. This really strange guttural language coming from behind the horse, and the horse has just stopped upon seeing you, and there is some very aggressive sounding voices coming from behind, including one that is a bit louder and a bit more dominant than the others, that is growling and then yells something, appearing to you can make a guess that it's seen you as the only source of the yelling. And that's where we currently are, with Zach having popped his head and self out.
Should have tried to open the crypt.
So do you guys think that all the crypts are like this, like everything, or do you think that there are going to be actual stuff that we can open? Hey Zachary, what are you doing?
Like hand signaling.
what's he wearing his head?
Oh, you can't tell what he's signaling, but
As that signaling's happened, there is now you even Fokionis and Alia, who are still back just at the entryway, can hear the second yell that comes out, and it is accompanied by the sound of footsteps and movement. You hear this guttural shout. Does anyone speak Goblin? That
Yep.
will make it easier than me looking. Who was that? Sorry.
Rick does.
All right. So
Because
Rick
Rick's-
on this second shout.
Because the
He is
DM
just-
gave
With an
me a
elective.
feat that is just a bunch of languages.
Nice.
Yeah, you deserved it after your
I
feats in the
speak
dream.
like 9 languages. It's great.
Nice.
It's perfect for Rick. And so Rick hears just this, kill him. That's the instruction, and it's very loud, very guttural. And you can hear it coming from around the corner opposite where Zachary is.
Turn around, not knowing. My brain sort of has a little bit of a fry moment of like, wait, what? I turn around, assuming I can't see anyone else, so I turn to Fock and say, "What now? What?
Oh.
What did you do?"
I don't know, bro. It wasn't me.
You're right. You've got that accent. I decide to slowly point to Ivy, a little confused. I haven't really heard her talk. Maybe she sounds like a goblin.
And while all this conversation is happening, and there's that confusion happening, you hear Zachary, the whistling of arrows coming in your direction. Very, very clear and very distinct.
I like.
So
yeah,
I
run
need you.
back. No.
The action has been happening and the conversations have been going on. There's 3 goblins who are going to take the instructions literally. They're going to fire at you. And while they are going and you're trying to avoid it, I need everybody to roll initiative.
Initiative. Aww.
What was that on here?
Oh.
All right. So does a 5 hit?
I'm trying to figure out where it is on here.
Zach,
Hang
I've just
on.
got to do you first. So does a 5 hit?
You got to do initiative first, bro.
Oh, god damn it. I would say having these guys shoot the arrows at you to
Where-
start the fight. I'm not allowed to do
where-
that? Oh,
We're
okay.
aware
Roll
of each
initiative.
other.
Where is it?
Okay.
They-
I thought I was allowed to. I appreciate having you guys here. So roll your initiative.
Alright, if I wasn't aware of them, they have a surprise round. Like,
No, you saw them. You saw the giant horse.
Nope.
That's-
Okay, I'm
not
gonna
how
ask one
surprise
more
works.
time. Where is initiative on here?
Next
Uh,
time. Oh, hang on. Are you doing
What?
it on Foundry?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm doing it on D&D Beyond. So.
then that sounds right.
Yeah, it's not there. I
And I
can't
can
find it.
click on it, but I don't.
So if you click on the word initiative,
11.
Yeah, then nothing happens.
no, I literally just did it for Ali. If you click on the word initiative, it rolled her dice.
Doesn't roll any dice. for me.
Where?
The top right hand corner under proficiency, so it goes level 2 range, a proficiency +2, and then the word initiative, and then your modifier +3.
Oh. Didn't do anything.
Oh, it's in the combat tab. The next one. You click on
Oh.
initiative, and it
Oh.
I must get a
well,
different
puts you,
pretty
view.
much-
Sorry.
puts you in the ranking. Like there's
Alright.
chat, and then next to it is the combat.
Sorry, my window's a little bit different for that. I do apologize.
So I technically got 11 from D&D Beyond, so I don't know which
Yeah.
one you want to go.
No,
by.
I'll go with your 11. So we've
I just
got
wanted to know where it was.
yeah. Sorry, it obviously it's different on my screen. That's why I was just going. If it's not where I'm saying it is, I don't know. All right, Rick, what do you roll?
Rick's forgotten his own name.
Yes.
Sorry, right, I'm Rick.
Yes.
No, it's not me doing it
Yep.
anymore.
I know.
It's Rick here.
No, it's not you
Um,
doing it yet.
Rick got a 16.
All
Rick
right,
got a
16.
humble, tiny, disappointing 16. Don't worry, I'm sad for me as well.
Yep, and Zach
17.
Yeah.
With the...
and Alia.
11.
All right, and
Yeah, that's it.
Fokionis.
17.
Holy shit. And Ivy.
5.
Oh.
I'm glad Luggage isn't the only cleric that rolls crap initiative. All right, give me a sec to do these guys. All right. The Warhorse is
Oh, I'm glad I'm all the way back
16.
at the doorway.
Why does Foundry say my name is Frank?
Because I
Because your
put your
name is
name in.
Frank.
Because you are now the tank.
No.
I initially put your name in wrong. I don't know where I got Frank from, and it's remembered it. Goblin.
Oh, thanks.
Goblin. Oh god, they rolled shit.
Bag's not being blue.
And Hobgoblin.
You still haven't put the updated image of Egg with a top hat in.
Because it didn't get to me by the time I went live, so it wasn't quick enough.
But it's so good. I know you've seen it, Egg. I heard you chuckle.
All right, +2. All right, the Hobgoblin does 10. Okay, so our order here are Zach and Fokionis. Who's got the high dexterity out of you two?
17. Probably me.
Yeah, mine's 14 plus 2, so 16. So definitely.
Yep, so it'll be
So
Zach.
you don't
and then
add the.
No, you,
Okay.
Just the
Just
straight
red.
dex.
You can, yep. So good.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Then Rick at 16. And I'll let you go before. Actually, yeah, I reckon I know. Definitely know the answer to this one. Rick, is your dexterity higher than 12?
Yep-o.
Yep. So you go before the horse. Then we've got Alia. Then we've got the big angry goblin. Then we have the little goblins. G1, G2, and G3. And then we have Ivy. Oh, it seems to be a cleric thing, is crap initiative. All right. So you don't get 3 arrows at you yet, Zach.
Thank you.
Just
What would
one.
you like to do?
I'd like to cast sleep on the goblins.
Oh, goes for the sleep.
So yes, use a spell slot. I don't have permission to put the template down, but yeah, get some more. So roll.
Now,
It's not
before you do this, the
Hmm?
hobgoblin is immune to sleep. You'll be able to do the others.
Like the horse.
Uh,
So 24 hit points worth of goblin goes to sleep.
so you can do the horse if you got enough. No, yeah, the horse is not immune to sleep. There you go. How many hit points? Sorry.
24. So it starts from the lowest hit point creature.
Yep.
and
So that's all
subtracts
3 of the goblins are asleep. That's 21 hit points between the 3 of them.
Oh. Unless the horse
If
has
the little one's
3
a
hit
goblin,
points.
what's the big one?
The big one is a hobgoblin who has a sleep immunity.
Does like a tooltip come up? Oh, goblin.
No. No, it
Then
doesn't.
how do we know it's a hobgoblin?
Okay, the big angry goblin. But I
Right, so
did-
it's the bad goblin.
So there is a
Sorry,
big
I
one that
don't know what
yelled
you are.
that you've then seen because they started moving towards you. There's 3 goblins behind the horse that are a bit obscured, and then there's the skeletal warhorse that is quite close to you. So you've cast sleep. Yep.
Yep,
So
cast
the
sleep,
3
and then-
goblins, I just need to give them the sleep effect.
And then I sort of use my move action to move around the corner. Next to Rick.
Yep. All right. No one's close. You're going the far side of Rick. So that's
No, just like
20.
just next to him.
All right.
Like
Like
below
there.
him. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yep. All right. Do you have anything else that you can or would like to do?
No, I'm done.
All right. So, Rick, from where you are with the angle you've got, you can see the front part of the skeletal warhorse that was heading towards Zachary. You cannot see any of the others that he cast that spell, and whatever he cast the spell at, all you can see is the front end of a warhorse, skeletal horse.
He knows he wasn't hurt.
Yeah. So even though I haven't flipped the model around because I didn't know which direction you guys had come in at this from, I actually expected you to come from the other way, but that's okay. So it is the front end of the horse, the action end with the skull and shoulders, just like the skeleton, held together by something. It's looking towards Zach, who followed his every movement as he ran away after casting the spell. And strapped to its back is quite a tattered saddle and a couple of bags, saddle bags on either side, but they're not fancy. They're just like sacks that have been tied on for whatever the horse has been used for. It seems to have been used as a pack horse, essentially, by whoever it's with. That you can hear yelling.
Okay, Rick is going to use his 11 intelligence to assume that the things yelling are probably intelligent because they're yelling. Okay, Rick will run to where Zachary was on like the corner here,
Mm-hmm.
so he can see down the hallway, and then seeing a skeletal horse, which is he just grappled with skeletons, guys. This is a hole.
Now that you've come around the corner, though, you've got clear sight of the horse, and behind the horse, so the vision's a bit obscure, but there is quite a large green figure looking almost like something out of a Spider-Man villain, holding a scimitar and a shield. And then beside him, he's looking a little bit confused, and he's looking down at his feet where there are 3 much smaller versions of the little green men, around 3 foot tall, wearing tattered bits of leather and cloth and holding an assortment of weapons. But the one they were gripping and ready to use was, each of them seems to have a short bow in their hands that you can see from your visibility, but they do have an assortment of weapons on them. But they are currently just lying, apparently unconscious, on the ground.
Okay, so Rick doesn't want to kill any of them, but there is a horse skeleton that looks like it really wants to fuck up Zachary.
The horse is
technically-
aggressively looking at Zachary.
And so he just points at Zachary and goes, "He's over there."
Rick does.
Rick does what, sorry?
Rick does the mental gymnastics he needs to justify the fact that you can't kill something that's already dead. And Rick will take a 5-foot step back and then sprint at the horse. And Rick is going to jump into the air and plant both of his feet on the horse's head.
Oh, I'm so glad you turned the horse
Right,
around.
and are you attempting to land in place there?
No, I'm just making an attack roll. I'm just jumping and.
Okay. So there was the flavor. I thought you were doing it like some monk shit, essentially.
If it hits, I'm gonna do some monk shit.
Right.
I have to see if it hits first.
Yep. So you backed up. You've leapt towards the.
Unarmed
the horse's
strike. Does a soft 20 hit?
Yes, that definitely. That's not a. Oh yes,
not a natural 20.
It definitely hits.
Awesome.
This is a big skeletal horse. Yes.
So in my head, a horse skeleton is not as heavy as a normal horse, so I don't think this will kill the hobgoblin when I do it. But I expect it'll hurt. Rick is going to use a pushing attack.
Mhm.
So the horse has to make a strength saving throw, and if it fails, it gets pushed up to 15 feet back into the goblins and everything.
Yeah.
I really hope this doesn't kill anything. So yeah, a strength saving throw from the horse. It has to beat a 13. Yep. It's still taking damage either way though. So
You wreck their sleep.
4, 5, 6, 7.
All right.
10.
So
that fails.
Your shove works.
So first, it takes 13 points of bludgeoning damage from that attack.
Yep, easy. Yep.
It's
definitely
12.
hurt. Okay.
Sorry, it's 12 points of bludgeoning damage from that attack. Sorry, I didn't.
Yep. So you can definitely see that definitely caused some discomfort to the horse. It's taken. So was that a bludgeoning attack? Did you say?
It was, yeah.
All right. So it actually appears to have done a lot more damage than you would have expected from an attack of that kind. That horse is looking very, very sore.
It's already
the bags
dead.
have fallen off. The tail has just clattered to the floor. It's literally on its last legs.
And yeah, it is pushed 15 feet away from me.
Yep.
So into the hobgoblins and everything. I hope no one dies.
Well, let this guy can do.
Big thumbs up, guys. I want to make friends. You can't make friends with dead people.
The hobgoblin actually makes a saving throw to get out of the way of that horse. So sees the monk that you're carrying on with and dodges the body as it comes slamming backwards. But did you say 15 feet? 1, 2, yeah. So the other goblins are not so lucky as the horse goes tumbling over them, tripping, falling through, and I need to have a look at what that does asleep. Takes damage.
It needs to go 5 feet back.
I beg your pardon?
From where it was, you've put it an extra 5. That's 20 feet from where it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's 15.
Sorry, I'll consider it there, but for my
Okay.
just being able to to see the actors, I'll move it back once we go through these. All right, now we need to look at what bludgeoning damage a freaking horse would do as it comes through. Give me 2
It wouldn't do
seconds.
any damage, would it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, the ability says, like, pushes it up to 15 feet away. It doesn't say it does damage to anything it hits. Right?
Hey, listen here, you goddamn
You
rules.
can't-
well, I was about to look because I was looking for it to come up in the chat thing to read it. I
Like, you
was
can't
looking for
push-
the shove. All right.
Yeah, it's an open hand monk. But
No, it's not. But yeah, it just says it pushes it back. If it does any damage,
Okay.
it's entirely up to the DM. It just says it pushes it. But I figured a horse stumbling over people hurts.
Look, I am happy for that horse to stumble through and knock each of the goblins that have been put to sleep. They each take a small bit of damage as it's careening, but it seems to have this imperative of not harming the little green men that were with it. So they do take a small amount of damage, but they are now no longer affected by sleep.
Okay, time to
Thanks,
have the rest
Jay.
of my turn.
Yep.
I will run at the hobgoblin.
Yep, so the bigger guy at the front with the shield and the big curved sword. Yep, he's holding a scimitar and a shield.
As I run at him, does he look aggressive towards me?
He is currently extremely aggressive and pissed off. He's when you initially saw him, there was confusion mixed with anger. His was the voice that you could hear and understand shouting out the instruction to kill Zachary. He definitely does not have good intentions.
No, he's the one in the wrong. It's not me. I'm fine. I'll run at him.
Mhm.
I will run
So
over
You
to...
went back 5 feet and then you went forward 5, 10,
5,
15
10,
to
15,
hit.
20,
So
25,
5, 10, 15,
30,
20. So
35,
yeah.
40. That'll be my max. Sorry, I'll still have 5 feet of movement left, even if I
Yep.
move 2 forward to that corner. One
Yep.
back.
One back. Yep.
One back, yeah. I will run over to the corner, so I'm sort of blocking the corner, and I will put my hands out and say, "Hey, I don't know how to speak Goblin. Shit. I know that I can speak Goblin, but I don't know how to do it. And I will try to speak Goblin."
Look, the words come tumbling out, but in your typical Rick fashion, it is coming out really fast, and you do
That's
give
fine.
momentary pause, and you can see that the hobgoblin, or the larger goblin, who seems to be better geared, he's wearing, actually, apart from now that you're a bit closer, the scimitar and the shield, he has a much finer set of armor than the much smaller goblins around him, and it's actually got kind of like a shimmering starlight effect to it. It looks like a very high quality piece of equipment, and he pulls up, and the anger and snarl is still in his face, but his head's sort of cocked to one side, just bewildered. He can understand the language that is coming out of your mouth, but has absolutely no idea. Like an Australian trying to talk nervously to a foreigner, you just spat out goblin too fast for him, but it has made him go.
I will
stare at
say,
me blankly.
in Goblin, what I say is, "That's a dead horse. What the fuck? Skeletons, hi. No hablo
Goblingish?
common?"
He snarls, spits in your direction, and slams a scimitar into his shield.
My bonus action will be spent. I will spend a key point to do patient defense.
Yep.
My last key point to take a dodge action as a bonus action, because he's probably gonna kill me.
And you sit back into a reflexively getting your foot out of the way of the green hawking Logie that just went in your direction into a defensive position that just feels very natural in that situation after the conversation you've just had. Yep.
Fuck. Help. He's angry.
What's going on?
Fokionis, you're up.
Fucking, what's going on? Has Fokionis moved? Because he hasn't. Because he's
No, you guys stayed and chatted, and there's only 2 of people that moved up. Or Ivy sort of moved a little bit along the way, but you and Ali are both stayed next to the funnel.
Right, just to clarify, if I move to where Rick is, can I then still use a weapon as such? That's still counted as one turn? Just wanted to clarify.
Your movement. So, what's your movement? How much movement do you have?
Walking speed 30 feet.
Okay, so 30 feet would bring you right in
Not
front of Zach, or
Yeah.
diagonally, like any of those squares in
Yeah,
front of Zach. That's as
So
far as you can get.
Not really able to do it.
Unless, do you have dash as a bonus action? Do you have any extra movement?
I don't know.
I know you've got rage.
I've got rage, but I don't think that gives me any extra movement. And I don't know that I have any other. I've got interact with object, which is a nout. So no.
No.
I
Okay,
cannot-
so you essentially you can move to get up closer. Where do you
or-
want to be then? Essentially, if I move you up, so whilst Fokionis may not have skipped chest day, he certainly has skipped cardio day.
Wow, bro.
Heads over towards the fray, hearing Rick's request for assistance. So I can put you anywhere in that row in front of Zach. You happy there?
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. So Fokionis is up. Now, the warhorse, who's didn't get knocked prone, just got knocked backwards, is now no longer pissed off at Zachary. Its hollow eyes have turned towards Rick, who's standing there patiently at the corner. And that warhorse is going to charge up to Rick and make an attack. Hang on. It only has one. So it gets up to you, it rears back on its hind legs, and it strikes forward, predominantly favoring one side, where you can see that there is one horseshoe on its front right hoof that appears to have been sharpened at the edges. And it rolls. Oh god! Does a 10 happen to hit you?
It won't, and it has disadvantage because of patient defense.
Yeah. So look, do you really want me to see if he rolls worse?
Normally, I'd be mean and say yes, but I won't make you do that.
I already did. Oh, the second one was a 24. Oh, that would have been amazing. But he doesn't have any advantages to. No, he has no advantage to help counteract that. So, despite all of the posturing of the warhorse, who is nearly dead but very angry, or nearly really dead, rears up, and the hooves just pass over your head. This slight swaying motion, you just watch them sail either side of you. Nothing happens. That ends the horse's turn, and now we're on to Alia.
Oh, what's your movement?
Very
So
quick.
how far did the horse move
Sorry.
forward?
Before Alia's turn, can I be a rude little rule nitpicking gremlin?
Please.
So, allies are allowed to move through enemy and their own squares. They cannot end their turn or take actions in them, though. Because of the
So you're
horse.
saying the horse can get up to you but not attack you?
So what?
Yep, no worries.
Yeah, so he can get to me, but he can't end his turn there. He must end his turn with all 4 of his squares empty.
Do you
So he
mean
can't
run
even
up
end. He
or-
can't end it even with you
He
in
can't
your
end-
space.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's got
so-
the movement to be able to
Yeah.
run past you, skitter awkwardly, trying to hit you, and just
I
fail
think
miserably.
Moving through an ally's square, it's an extra 5 foot, and moving through my square, it's an extra 10 foot. But yeah, just figured I'd be a rude
No, thank
boy.
you.
I am a rude boy.
No, I need to know these because I looked at a bunch of stuff that I thought might happen. Having the horse get shoved back was should have been from the previous incident, but it wasn't. But the horse has a shitload of movement, so that it has enough to get where it is there. Okay, we're on to Alia. So
It
Alia
doesn't have flesh, so I
Racer.
can't shoot with an arrow. There's no point.
Shoot in the eye.
You shot some skeletons.
Yeah, you can just shoot
You
it.
can definitely shoot
Oh
it.
yeah. Cool.
It's
All
40
right, I'm gonna
40
shoot
feet
my
away.
longbow at it.
Yep. Take your shot.
Does a 16 hit it?
16 hits. Go ahead and tell me how much damage it is. This thing is literally about to fall over. Yeah.
8.
And that horse just collapses. Whatever was holding it together, which was mainly anger and annoyance at this. Firstly, the guy in the top hat, and then this weird little dude who jumped off its head, just collapses into a pile of bones, but just behind Rick. The horse is done. I shall leave it there just so you can see it for looting purposes, because you didn't destroy it. It's just dead. Yep. Horse is down.
Now, I have another quick question. This
Mhm.
is also a question for Jay as well.
Yep.
In D&D Beyond, it's saying my spells are a first level, but in Foundry, it's saying they're a bonus action.
Yeah, they're both.
They're both.
Yes, a first level spell that takes a bonus action to cast.
Okay. So I can technically do that now, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Which one are you looking to use? And because you can no longer see where you currently are, you can't see any bad
Oh, no,
guys
no.
anymore.
So I can only cast this spell, and that's it. Because then I use it my next turn.
Okay. I trust you to manage those. So go ahead and cast.
You can just say what the spell is.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
so you can tell
cast
us.
Hail of Thorns.
Yep. Okay. So you got Hail of Thorns.
Hail of Thorns. Oh, Jesus.
Yep. All right. Now, do you want to move, or are you wanting to stay where you
Nope,
are?
I'm groovy where I am.
Okay.
If I've learned anything the last campaign, I'm gonna stay right where I am. Because if I hide, I get shanked. If I get too close, I get shanked.
I thought it was cast armor.
All right. So that takes us on to the hobgoblin's turn. So the very well dressed.
Sorry. So I was just clarifying. I saw the horse pop back up, but it's just a corpse.
Yes.
Even though it already was.
So the very well dressed goblin is moving up to Rick, growling. Nothing intelligible is coming out. Nothing for you to be able to understand. It is just a guttural anger, frustration, annoyance. It's pissed off at seeing its charger go down. It was carrying all of the whatever it was they were doing. It seemed to be strapped on the back of that horse, and it's just generally pissed off to come across you and now be under attack and had some failings. So it is going to go ahead and use its longsword to attack you. Just using it one-handed, it's still holding its shield.
I thought I had a scimitar.
Oh, sorry, scimitar. Sorry. Oh no, was it? Sorry, it's a longsword. I do apologize.
Longsword, yeah. Hobgoblins carry longswords.
Yeah, it was a longsword. So 22. It's disadvantage, isn't it?
Disadvantage.
Is patient defense still active? God damn it.
Yeah, until the start of my next turn.
All right, the second is an 8 for that swing.
Yes.
So that doesn't hit, I'm assuming.
It does not, no.
No. So that goblin has swiped. Took a couple of goes, and it's just wafting around you. You're just at this point looking like you're in the Matrix, weaving around these attacks. But it is now right up close in your face. That's the end of its turn. Now we are on to the three goblins who are all awake. They're going to each. Sorry, what's that?
No, just it's fine. Surely if
Okay.
they've just woken up, they need coffee first before they get out.
It's just convenient that they all take 1 damage.
Look, being trampled by a horse, it'll do that to you.
Exactly.
No, it should
Look,
kill
we-
them if
we
they're
had-
trampled by.
We had such a good conversation with the horse being pushed through them that it was very careful not to harm them too much. But
Look, Egg,
amazing they woke up.
if it came to
Now-
what should be killed by horse trampling, I'd fully agree with you. But the rules of this dungeon are unknowable.
And that horse was trying very hard not to hit them.
It's a good
So
But it did hit them just enough to wake them up.
just enough to wake them up. All right.
Convenient, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is very convenient. The first goblin, the three goblins are attacking together with their initiative, fires an arrow at you. Your patient defense, does it apply to projectiles as well as
any
melee
sort
attack?
of attack that comes my way.
Yep, so an 8 will miss.
But they just
I'm
roll
not-
normally anyway, because they have pack tactics, don't they?
Goblins should have pack tactics, yeah. Unless he's using a different type of goblin. There's so many different stat blocks for them in the game now that, honestly, it could be any type of goblin.
Okay.
They don't. 11.
11 will miss.
All right. And the final one is going to take his shot.
Oh, no, it's kobolds that had pack tactics. Yeah.
I feel like goblins should too, though. It makes sense for goblins.
And another 11. That disadvantage is that's vicious. Okay, so they've all fired their shots at you, but they just go sailing and whistling harmlessly past you. That ends their turn because of the disadvantage. And Ivy, you're up.
Ivy, first off, would like to move next to the dead horse's corpse with her little itty bitty 20-foot of movement.
Yep. So there.
Yes.
Yep. So you can
Leave
see from that angle. You can see the. You
I
can
can
just
see one
see
of the goblins.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you don't have a sight line on the hobgoblin, but you do have a sight line on the front goblin.
Yeah. She is going to hold out her hand and mimic what she did in the first time they were ever pulled in and try to slap the goblin.
Yep. What's the
That is a 16 to hit with chill touch.
16 to hit? Just hits. Go ahead and tell me damage.
It's 4 necrotic damage.
Okay, that goblin is very, very sore. They're very badly injured. Now limping on one leg, look almost like it's taken an arrow in the knee. It has. It is not doing well at all. All right. Would you like to do anything else? You've moved.
No.
You've taken that shot.
You gotta bitch slap a goblin every once in a while.
And now we got a bitch slap a goblin every once. Yep, righto. Bokionis. Oh, sorry, Zach. Apologies. Zach. Go back to you.
Yeah, see, Rick in there all by himself, and just pull out the dagger and try and stab the hobgoblin he's fighting.
All right, so where would you like to move to stab the hobgoblin?
I can play suboptimally too. Sorry,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's right next to Rick. I've moved like over the horse
Yep.
around him, so I'm like,
Yep.
like blocking
No
the
worries.
way.
You don't, yeah. So you got the
Right,
diagonal strike. You
Who
go and
need
stab
tanks
at
when
the
you've got a wizard and a monk?
It's a front line. Now your patient defense, if I'm right, Rick, it's now coming back to your turn next.
Yeah.
23 to hit.
23 does hit.
That's 4 damage.
4 damage, no worries at all.
I'm helping.
Oh. I took the goblin down to that much health instead of taking that much health off. So the goblin looks at the dagger come through and just shrugs it off. It barely makes a scratch, but it's certainly it has left a gash in the arm very shallowly through the shimmering armor that it's wearing. What else would you like to do? Or can you do anything?
No, turns over.
Yep. All right, Rick.
Okay, Rick will look at Zachary beside him. You could have thrown the knife. I'm sure you have like fire. You know what? Never mind. That's Jay. Jay plays suboptimally in an optimal way. You're playing suboptimally because it's a meme, and I love it. Zachary has gone from possibly Rick's least favorite to maybe his favorite. And there's a sentient raccoon, guys. That's big. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what I can do because I'm all out of key. I can't use any more maneuvers, so I can't try to disarm him. The best I can do is try and punch him twice. But I don't want to do that because I'm a squishy boy. So instead...
So what are you going to do?
Okay, Rick is going to not turn away from the hobgoblin, but sort of turn his attention to the three behind him.
Mhm.
And Rick will mainly looking at Fokionis and maybe Ivy because she has bloodlust. And he will just say, "Don't kill them. We don't have to kill them. Knock them out." And then we'll proceed to punch
I
the
did.
hobgoblin.
You woke them all up. I'm just saying.
I'll proceed to punch at the hobgoblin.
Yep. No worries. Punch away.
I should take the dodge action, but hey, this is what we're doing. Actually, no. I'm gonna take the dodge action.
Don't
my
take the
action
dodge
this time.
action. Just kill it.
Hey, you
What are
shouldn't
you
be standing here. You did this to yourself.
Guy with the lead rope, that's you.
Those three the goblins shouldn't be awake.
Fine.
You did this to yourself.
Fine. I put a finger up to the hobgoblin. Excuse me, could you give me a second? If you didn't want to be in danger, Zachary, what are you doing here?
If you're going to try and pause combat, I'm going to make this your action to have a
And
chat.
then-
There's a
and
goblin there with a sword. He's
And then
not
I'll
happy.
punch the hobgoblin, I guess.
So then you shape back up.
Does a 13 hit the hobgoblin?
13 just brushes off that shield as it brings it up to your fist, and it just clungs dully into it. No, it
Awesome.
does
As my fist bounces off, I'll bring both hands back, and I'm going to use my bonus action to try and I'll unarmed strike again, and I'll just try and like clap his ears this time. Does a 14 hit?
A 14 does not hit.
Okay,
So
Zachary.
The goblin just
Fucking
sways
happy.
back, and your hands essentially look like you're giving a big single round of applause to the hobgoblin right in front of his face.
I will play that off as a slow clap and move back into a fighting stance. I give Zachary just the worst stink eye. Now we're both
I
gonna
didn't
die.
miss it.
All right,
I end my turn.
Fokionis.
You had two go.
Fokionis, before he moves, acknowledges the fact that that Rick gives him like the semi-hairy eyeball to say, "Maim but do not kill." And in acknowledgement of this, he shrugs his shoulders and sighs and goes, "Fucking fine." He's going to move 10 feet, roughly in front of the dude with the butter knife.
Yep.
And then he's going to attack the hobgoblin.
No worries at all. So you're positioning yourself between the two of them. Yep. All right.
Yep,
Go ahead.
yep.
What are you attacking? Are you attacking with your
Well,
axe?
Probably not, because I don't know. My intent is to swing at the hobgoblin's legs as if to try and trip him over. Now, I don't think there's a world where I can do that with a great axe and not slice his knees off. So, we're going to go for the javelin, but we're going to use the non-trident end to basically...
You're going to sweep the leg.
Yeah, sweep the leg. I have no problem with that, Sensei.
Yep. No
We
worries.
can't all play suboptimally.
Look! The guy that's always running out in front says don't kill, so, we won't kill.
No problem. So we're doing
You
a
can-
melee
you can
attack
just
with
do-
the javelin.
yeah.
Yep,
Just
sweeping
do
leg.
normal
Go for
damage,
it. Roll
and
it.
you can make it non-lethal.
Look,
That's-
if I had any sort of knife, I would have looked at Egg and gone, that's not a knife.
Look, he's smacking. You've made your decision. Do your rolls.
Doing it.
You're attacking the legs. And
That's
I can.
right, that's the damage dice.
You've made your intent clear. So what was what was your roll to hit?
12, which doesn't hit.
12 does it. The goblin has clearly been conditioning his shins and just lifts up one leg and checks the javelin that bounces off
Karate kid,
harmlessly.
not kickboxer. Come on. No one said Natsuka.
And then in common this time growls out. It spits again. He has got a disgusting habit of this. Puny human. He doesn't even recognize you as a
What are you
half
calling human, bro?
Yep. All right. Is that your turn?
I guess. No, I can still move a bit, can't I?
You can still move, but you would need to stay in essentially that other diagonal square, or you're going to get quite a few attacks of opportunity.
No, I'm just going to stay where I am and brace for impact.
All right. Next up, we have the horse is dead, so we have Alia Racer.
I'm gonna move forward 25 feet.
No worries
If
at
only you
all.
moved last turn.
No, I wanted to see what everyone else was gonna do first.
Yep. So
And that's the
you're
end of my turn because
sneaky
I can't
Ricky.
you
see
want to go into
anybody.
the middle. I can see that the middle is being pinged. You can go essentially any one of these three
Yeah, I'll go to the
in
middle.
the middle. Yep. All
So-
right. Done.
Sorry.
You can
I-
see the hobgoblin from there.
I was gonna say I will very quickly point out that Hail of Thorns doesn't need to be used this turn. It stays until your next attack. So if you
Yeah,
want,
no.
you can use your action to dash and get into range for the start of your next turn. Is what I was gonna say.
Do I
If you-
have
You do have the
dash?
dash action, do
Or
you?
just shoot him.
Do
You
I?
can see him. Like
No, I'm literally
how
that's
can
the
she
corner
see
of
him
the
when he's around
wall.
the corner?
one corner of her square. You can see a corner of his.
Unless you're holding
has-
this
he
big
has
ass
cover.
fucking mirror.
She has Hail of Thorns. If she shoots him there, we're all gonna take damage.
Exactly.
Zachary, shut your fucking mouth.
It's
Someone's
what she
trying
would
to afford to
do.
take damage.
Then I'll
Look,
dash forward if I have
if she
that.
went one more square up, I would give you the shot, but with him having some at least half cover, so he would get a bump to his AC, or you can move, but not from where you're currently standing.
I'll just dash forward.
All right, and where are you dashing to?
Yeah, where Lily just pinged.
Yep. Okay. You
I
got
don't know
Lily
how
left.
to ping, so.
Just push and hold with the left mouse button.
Oh, okay.
They don't all need to.
Oh, they've all learned now.
Don't make me turn ping off.
Mm.
All right, so that's Alia done. The Hobgoblin now is it split between
Yeah, you punks
Zach
need to
and
move
Rick,
it.
but Rick
That's
is
all.
currently getting his ire just simply from the destruction to the horse, tossing up his options. They're not really that concerned with or threatened by the dagger that just small scrape on the arm. So he's going to go ahead and take another swipe at Rick with his long sword.
More damage than Rick did.
But I explained the reasoning.
What is spread damage? +1? Like, only if it's a soft margarine.
All right. Does a 14 hit?
14 will miss.
All right. So swipes through and just getting increasingly annoyed and frustrated at its continual inability to hit these humans in his face. The goblin, that's his turn. He's pissed off. He's got you lot all around him, and he's very annoyed. Moving on to the goblins behind him. Taking the lead from their leader, who is the one who is shouting the instructions. The others, or the first one at least, who's seen that attack, is going to take a shot at Rick. Not guaranteeing that the others will. So still equipping still going with a short bow, because they were ready for a ranged attack. 8 does not hit because you just told me that the other one didn't. So misses. The other two behind, seeing that there's very ineffectual hitting the very strangely dressed man covered in blood in front of their boss. The other two are going to actually take a shot at Phocyonis, who's a much bigger and it's seemingly easier to hit target.
It's true. But the goblin still provides cover.
All right, does a 20 hit? No, it's soft 20, not a...
Yes.
All right, so the first one does big damage. 3 damage to Phocyonis.
Dead.
No.
And the second one getting invigorated and seeing that they can actually hit these targets and that they're not spectral ghost figures that are undamageable, does the same thing. So he's going to... If my rolls don't show up, I do apologize. I have to manually make them public. Is an 11?
That's a miss.
All right. And the second arrow just clatters harmlessly into the stonework. And that is the goblin's turn, and we're on to Ivy.
Ivy, seeing as the bitch slap didn't do too much damage, is going to once again go after that same goblin, but she's going to make a bonk fist and
A
attempt
bonk
to hit
fist.
the top of the goblin's head.
What spell are you using? Sorry, what's bonk
It's
fist?
chill touch. It's chill touch.
Oh right, okay.
It makes a
I don't know.
special hand.
I don't know a
Funny.
spell that has a feature. Got it. Bit of flavor. Okay, what's the roll?
There's a 15 to hit.
15 just barely misses and skims that bonking, just barely misses the goblin and lands directly between the goblin and Fokionis, the hobgoblin.
His AC is 16, guys.
That's all.
Not metagaming.
Yeah, no, not at all. I did say it just barely misses, so you could figure that aspect out. All right, that's Ivy done, and we come back to Zach with his knife in hand.
I guess this stab him again.
Oh god. Jesus. Well,
How about you move out the
Oh,
way?
is this payback to Racer for when she went in with the longsword with her
What are, you,
fairy?
what are you talking about?
All right, carry on.
Right. No, not
This
less,
just
are
hurts.
we? Does 12 hit?
Wise to your tactics with your butter knife. The goblin's looking for it this time and just absent-mindedly taps it away with its sword, just deflecting it towards Fokionis. Just completely dismissive of the attack.
How did that happen? Yeah, end of my turn.
All right, on to Rick.
I feel like he's just trying to hurt me at this point. Rick will look at Zachary for his instructions.
In the middle of a fight with a snarling. Yep.
Yeah,
Hey,
damn
if-
right. Rick's that petty.
if you-
No, Rick
Yep.
will
You got
punch
6
Trip-
seconds. Get your instructions and
Trip
go.
him,
him. Rick will
get
actually,
advantage.
Rick will actually just punch him twice.
Righto, go for it.
wait, Rick's punching Zach twice.
That's what I heard.
Soft 20 for the first attack,
That hits.
miss.
and bonus action attack 16.
16 is the goblin's AC.
That hits.
Yep. So you got them both.
Okay. Roll dice. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points of damage with 2 attacks.
Yep. So with that,
I
those
kick him.
2 hits strike home. Oh, hang on. I took him again down to 7 instead of. Sorry, with 13 you said of damage. Hey.
13 damage total, yeah. I kick him right in his little chinny chin.
Yep.
When I kick him, as I sort of like go back to my pose, I will put my hands out. Admittedly, I have just kicked him in the head twice.
Mm-hmm.
As
So
you
you've knocked the head back and forth. Those attacks, he's been very dismissive to this point, with barely any damage. Hasn't hit any of yourselves, but he's taken nothing from you guys to make you feel like a threat. You've definitely woken him up now, and he is hurting.
And I'll put my hands out, and I will say in Goblin, as I point at Fokionis, we don't want to kill you. Just stop. I try to ignore Fokionis, probably laughing. We don't want to kill you. Just stop. I just kicked him in the head twice. I don't expect him to do anything.
Stop, please, guys. Guys, stop.
This is the equivalent of like that scene in Age of Ultron where Iron Man's doing the gotta sleep, and then immediately apologizes for it. Like it's not it.
This goblin is not going to engage with you, Indigo. He's addressed you more than once, and you are getting nothing back but just a growl and a glowering look after kicking him in the head twice and then trying to negotiate.
Yeah, that's fair. Fuck him up, Fokionis.
Fokionis, you're up.
Cool. So, just to recount, we've tried disabling them without hurting them. I've just copped more damage.
Don't.
Rick's speaking in
Do it.
tongues, so I'm pretty sure he's next.
Do it.
And
Don't
old
do
mate looking for raisin toast behind me with that piddly little knife doing I don't know what. No. So,
That's a fair
Doing more
critique. I agree
damage
with that
than
one.
you did.
at this stage, Fokionis is now pissed off and hurt, so he's going to engage Hog mode, definitely. So with a semi-roar of his little teeth that he has grown, being a half orc, he's just gone, "Whoa, fuck this shit, bro!" And it's
Was
just
that you raging?
yes, and pulled out his great axe, and he's pretty much trying to make a bowling ball out of the half orc's head. So we're gonna go and almightily swing. By the way, if I didn't mention, I've raged.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yep.
we're
Your
rolling.
bonus action raged.
Oh, fucking 14. So 14 does not hit, does it? And it's
Nope.
only +2 to the damage, not the roll for hit.
Yes, you don't get a yes.
But do I get a bonus action? Yes.
Your bonus action was raging.
No.
Yes. Yes, it was. So you have movement, which will give the
Very
hobgoblin.
unhappy that he's missed this prick sitting in front of him. So I'm just going to haul off and run towards the other piddly ones. And see
You're
if
running.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna
No,
go to the other side.
don't
Yep.
run towards
Where are you?
them.
Where are you
Don't
running?
run.
Where are you running?
Oh, no.
Don't.
Oh, yeah.
Because you are going to give away four attacks of
That'd be
opportunity as you
funny.
charge through.
No, screw that.
Don't move.
Don't move. No, I'm moving.
Don't
I'll move.
move.
I
No,
don't know.
don't move.
But you can't, it's his turn, so you're going. You don't
No.
give away. No. So where do you want
Well,
to move
I'll just
to?
kill you then.
Whatever.
Just let him do his turn. Where do you want to move to?
This is so good.
It's your go, man. I need to. You've got a lot of movement. Where do you want to go?
I'm not going to move, really, have I? Because I fucking put myself
If
up
you
there.
move away, you will give away
can't.
2 attacks of opportunity. You can
How
come
2?
diagonally over to here and you
how's
won't-
2 if I get a... How is there 2 if I move away?
because you've got
1,
2.
sure. 2.
No,
Oh,
because you've got a goblin on either side of you. You've got a goblin and a hobgoblin,
yeah, sure.
and they'll both get an attack at you because you're moving away from out of their range.
Should I just stay where I am? Because,
All right.
I'm just a big fucking soft rag for the
right.
old man with the magic hat on.
And Alia, you're up.
So much respect.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I have this correct in my head. So if I do my normal longbow, whatever damage I get that, it is plus as well the Hail of Thorn.
So yeah,
If
the next
they
time you
succeed,
hit with
if
an
they
attack.
fail on a saving throw.
You've got to hit
So-
them first.
So
Yeah, but I'm
You
just want to
hit-
make sure that it's my normal attack plus my spell attack.
So the way it works basically is you hit one creature, and then them and everyone within 5 feet of them will take damage.
Okay.
But they make a saving throw. Even
So
if they
just-
fail, they still take some damage, just not as much.
Yeah.
So you
So
just
you-
do your
Yeah.
normal attack to start with.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you'll see whether it's half or full to. I'm assuming you're shooting at the hobgoblin, yes?
Yeah, the one in the back far corner.
Oh, okay. So, yep, you're going for the back goblin. Gotcha. That's good. I needed to know that.
Yeah, that
That's
one.
not the Yep. Okay. Yep. Got it.
I just gotta find my.
And next up, we have. There'll be the hobgoblin.
There we go.
All the goblins go next, and then it'll be Ivy after their turn. If there's any left standing.
It'll be a
Holy
26.
fucking duck shit. Yeah, that hits.
Okay. And now my attack for this one, for that back one,
Yep. So you get.
it'll be an 18.
Yep. That goblin is just a red mist painting the wall.
Okay. And now the other two need saving throws.
Yep.
Hey,
So
you
what's the
rolled-
save?
You rolled attack instead of damage for the damage roll.
Oh, did I?
So,
Yeah, sorry. You did
Oh, my
too.
bad.
Can you do the damage? Oh, then he's not
Yeah.
painted mist anymore.
then a
Six
6.
damage.
Better when he was painted mist.
So he dies. That arrow strikes him right between the eyes, and he drops. But it wasn't that much excessive damage that he exploded from the impact. So that goblin is now
Um,
pinned to the wall. The arrow's gone through his right eye socket into the brickwork, and he's just hanging there limply. He is well and truly dead.
I don't know how we find out the
every-
saving throw thing. Though.
It's DC 10 because your
Yeah.
wisdom. Yeah, what's your wisdom? 11. Yeah, so it's a DC 10 saving
Yeah,
throw
11.
for all the goblins. Dex save. And yeah, you roll a
The
D10.
it's the 2 goblins left alive because the hobgoblin is
Yeah.
out of range.
Yeah. Correct. And you roll a d10, and if they succeed, they take half. If they fail, they take that d10.
Yep. And the first, so the
How do I know
goblin,
if they...
the goblin closest, is furthest away from Phocyonis has failed the roll.
Oh, okay. There's my saving throw for the dexterity.
Yeah, it just says DC 10, so the GM rolls.
Okay. Yep. So the one closest to Phocyonis made the save with a 17. The other one failed with a 3. So the furthest one back will take full damage, and then the one closest to Phocyonis will take half.
6.
Yep.
So
So the
6
back
and
one,
3.
the back one, as the thorns explode out from the corpse nailed to the wall, is just impaled by the spiky vines and is also dead.
Nice.
And the one next to Phocyonis is, oh god, so close to death. So very close to death.
That's a good shot.
Yes.
It is nearly all over. All right, the hobgoblin. I can't get to the.
Wait, do I get
The-
this bonus action? No.
Oh, yep. Sorry. Yes, you do,
No, it's alright.
because you used your bonus. You used your bonus in your previous turn to set up your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Alright,
yes,
I'm going to do
when you can move.
ensnaring strike this time.
So you're setting that up for your next turn. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Are you moving at all? Or are you happy where you are?
No, I'm happy where I am.
All right. The hobgoblin, again, having seen that the big lumbering half orc, even though you call him human, appears to be the most susceptible to damage. Before taking a swing at Phocyonis, and turning his attention from Rick, just growls out, this time in broken common, that "You human scum, your world deserves to fall." There does not appear to be any surrender or peaceful end game with this hobgoblin and the one remaining goblin at this stage, who is still with his boss. So taking a swing at Phocyonis with the longsword.
All right, Pooh Bear, bring it on. Come on.
He rolls an 18.
Fucking yes.
All right. Definitely easier to hit. Oh, for 2 damage.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
2 damage for all that. A big strike, and it just partially deflects off the axe in Phocyonis's hand and causes a very small nick on his forearm.
Oh, that stings, bro.
And the same thing, the one final goblin who's left in it, it appears a bit skitterish. It very much appears to be considering just booking it from this encounter, but the looks at Phocyonis, looks at the rest of you, looks at the hobgoblin, and just takes a shot at Phocyonis. Has clearly made a decision to stay, but it was a close run thing. All right. As the only one of these targets that appears to be taking any kind of damage, does a 5 hit?
No, it does not.
You know, no, it did. And another arrow. Just too much nerves. It's nearly dead. It's practically bleeding out in front of you, and it just couldn't cope with the stress. And we're back now to Ivy. There's one goblin and one hobgoblin left remaining. So I'll fade them out so you can see who's dead.
No, please don't. Not yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wait, did I kill the other one?
You killed 2. You impaled. One is now stuck to the wall via your arrow that went
Oh.
straight through its skull, and the other one was impaled by the thorns that shot out.
Men.
So it's only the 2 goblins next to Phocyonis who are alive.
And that is why I told you not to move.
Ivy has never really seen anything this gruesome before.
You're the only gamer amongst us. Surely you've seen this.
Surely you
literally
recognize this.
in like front of you, and video game violence in her favorite games, such as Final Fantasy, doesn't show it in graphic detail. So, in a crazed panic, she is going to go over to the very, very dead goblins and just continuously try to use spare the dying on them.
Wait, the dead goblins. So you're gonna move
The
past
dead-
2 living ones. Okay, so as you
I'd
try
still
and
be in the 5-foot radius, wouldn't I? so I
Oh,
wouldn't
you're
get
going
attack of
into that.
opportunity. Yeah.
I'm with you. So you're staying in that corner square. Yep. What's your movement? Because you do have to move through the space of several.
I already checked it.
Oh,
I
okay.
have just
Then I
enough.
trust you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Yep. So
20
Ivy's
feet.
here,
Yeah.
and
Just down on her knees, shaking hands over the goblins.
the one that's all right.
Sorry,
is it-
very quickly. So
Yeah.
I know this is weird, but I will point this out because it's one of those
I'm reading
weird
the
DM
spell.
things that most. So what it does basically is it stabilizes you when you're on death saves.
Mhm.
Technically, monsters make death saving throws, but there is an assumption at the end of combat that players basically mop up, which is where we go around and finish off monsters unless we actively state we don't. So technically, if you wanted, she could save them if that's
Well-
your ruling, but that's up to you because that will be more work for you later on, sort of thing. Just figured I'd point
Look,
that
It's a
out.
lot of work.
It's a lot of work to track every monster's death saves. It's a pain.
I am happy to have it come in as flavor. I'm not going to be able to do a campaign of death saving throws for monsters, but look, it seems like you're doing something. There's a little bit of warmth to the corpse that is impaled with thorns. I hope Ivy feels a little bit better for her efforts.
It would be a
They're
shame
both
if I
clearly
killed them
dead.
again.
They are very very dead. But your efforts are very kind and panicked. All right, is that you done, Ivy?
That's all.
Yeah. All the
Yep, all right.
humans, they go, oh.
So Ivy's down on her knees, attempting to like the fingers in the hole of a boat, just try and plug up all the holes in this goblin that are filled with thorns, just to stop the blood and ichor running out of it. And we're back to Zach. Zach and his bread knife.
Zach is
he'll-
getting some side eye from Rick right now.
Yeah, and
And
What
just to
did
be
I
clear,
do?
you have one living hobgoblin that is quite badly injured, especially after those 2 kicks to the head, and one goblin that it is amazing that he is still standing.
A cast like magic missile, right there. I cast a
No, you
spell.
just-
Are you less mad at me now, right?
Yep. Well,
And
we know it hits.
right, so yeah, 2 of them against the hobgoblin and 1 against the goblin,
Go for it.
right? So
Give me your damage for the
Take it
hobgoblin
off.
first, because I know you're going to kill the
Damage
goblin.
you cast
I
was
don't know
really-
how to do the rolls individually on Foundry, so I'll do it in
Well, can
D&D
you-
Beyond.
Would you mind doing it in Foundry? I'm happy to do both. But do you mind doing it in Foundry so we can see what it looks like for Magic Missile? So there you go. There's the
Oh
first
no,
one.
they all
3.
do the same damage, don't they? You roll 1.
Or
Yes.
3
Yes.
does.
So,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
6 damage to the hobgoblin and 3 to the goblin. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, that's how we roll. Sorry.
That's how you.
okay. So the goblin is now dead, past dead. It is that missile has just turned its head into an exploding pumpkin. It crumbles to the ground, well and truly gone. There's not even an Ivy can save that one. And the hobgoblin being struck with the magic missiles, they hit home, and it is very near death itself. It is almost doubled over. It's strength of will that's keeping it on its feet at the moment.
Yeah, end my turn.
All right, next up we have Rick.
Seething with contempt for the 2 of his party members that have just actively killed living, thinking beings.
And it wasn't me.
Knowing that whatever respect Zachary had earned from him is gone and will never return. The fact that Alia was his favorite and definitely isn't anymore. Rick will, without saying a word, look at the hobgoblin and he just hits it. He just wants to
Go
knock
for
it
it.
out. Just unarmed strike.
Look, yeah.
17.
Try and make it 17 just barely hits. You managed to strike the goblin that is just weaving on its feet. Very hard target, but you did snuck the blow in.
6 damage.
6
Rick
damage.
will just like jump up to its height and just slam a fist into its temple and try and non-lethally knock it out before he maybe kills Zach.
You may have tried just a gentle little tap to make the goblin go unconscious, but with the strength that you've got in this new body that you still are trying to figure out, having not read any of the information that came with it at the entrance to the dungeon, you have taken the goblin past the point of no return with that damage. He was barely holding on, and that punch has just ended him, and blood just begins trickling out his ears, nose, and mouth, and he's
So
no longer breathing.
I will clarify, anytime you drop a creature to 0 with bludgeoning damage or an unarmed strike,
With a
you
melee
can-
attack.
Yeah, with a melee attack, you can choose for it to be non-lethal. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Like,
I'm
you
with
can
you.
actively just
Okay.
be like, the attack is non-lethal if you... It's the same as like if you're fighting with a
I
battle
understand.
axe and you kill someone, you can easily just be like, oh, I just hit it with the butt of the axe or I punch it or whatever. That's what I was... Sorry. Sorry. That I don't think I was clear on that. That's my apologies.
I know. I probably just didn't understand. I misunderstood. Okay, so the goblin is definitely unconscious.
I will
There
just
is
knock it
no
unconscious.
HP left.
I will immediately drop down to one knee. So everything's dead or unconscious now. So we're at a...
Yep.
I will
Yep,
immediately
that's
drop
it.
down to one knee, pull the healing kit out of my backpack, and immediately start bandaging up the goblin so it stops, so it doesn't make death saving throws or bleeding out. So it's unconscious but alive. I will also be pulling 50 foot of rope out, ready to tie its hands behind its back, and I'm pretending that Zachary and Alia do not exist.
Oh.
Deal with those two later.
A start of breath comes into the goblin's chest. It is in a very bad way, but you have managed to stabilize it and have it unconscious rather than dead. The combat has finished here now, so you've got the hobgoblin is now barely breathing but unconscious, hasn't been tied up as far as I'm aware yet. There's 3 dead goblins, 2 of whom are impaled up against the brickwork, one by thorns and one by an arrow. And then there's the horse that is just a pile of bones that have collapsed.
Can I run up to Ivy and see that like she's like affected by this, and just start like conjuring up illusions of like popular characters and stuff to try and distract her from what
with your minor illusions in the
like,
palm of your hand, just this flickering of the characters that I'm
Baby
assuming
Yoda,
Zachary under
cute things,
geek culture that you're aware of on the periphery, not having quite the same level of expertise in that world as Ivy, who's deep down in it. Yes, you start conjuring those up in the palm of your hand, just trying to get her attention and take her mind off her frantically trying to bring back a very dead goblin.
Ivy's still on the ground by the goblin. Her hands are still shaking. She is definitely crying.
Looking up at Fock, I'll just motion towards Ivy, and I'll just say, "Clean that up. Get Zach to get her away from them while I'm bandaging the hobgoblin."
So I look at Rick and go, "Bro, have you got maybe a band-aid and the Panadol for Focky here?"
I'll reach into the I have like the little healing kit, and I'll pull out like a small salve and a bandage and just toss it into the air in his general direction for him to catch.
Sweet.
And I'll just point over and just deal with her, please. Help her. And I'll just finish tying up the hobgoblin and sort of sit him up against the wall.
I will say, for those of you who are close enough to look at the 2 goblins that Ivy was attempting to save in her initial instance, especially the one impaled by thorns, which was where she was spamming the stabilization cantrip, they are dead. They, short of attempting some kind of resurrection, they're gone.
See, Ivy, if you were like 9th level or something, it'd be fine.
The damage that they took from the ranged attack from the raccoon is too much for them. Just letting you know that they won't be saved.
I can heal them.
Can I like sort of try and carry Ivy, or like move her like around the corner where she can't see them?
No, no, they're just gonna accept
I'm
it
gonna
as
come
success.
down and
That's
snuggle
all.
up to her.
That's all right. I'm going to grab all three of
Emotional support, raccoon.
them and look at Ivy and go, it's like, hey, Ivy, I'll take them back to their respawn point. You stay here. And drag the three of them round the corner towards the fake catacomby coffin-y thing.
Okay, so hang on. Just let me get some positionings of people here, and also just some awareness. When Zach came down, just on the far side of Ivy, trying to get her attention and
what fresh manner of
and draw her, like, to take her mind off what she's currently seeing. He's actually, Zach especially has noticed, but the rest of you, now that all of that combat is finished, you can see a rotating blue light, like an old fashioned, the single blue light in a plainclothes detective or police
Blue
car,
light disco.
rotating on the corner of one of the walls just diagonally behind Zach. It is very clearly visible. It seemed to have been dimmed and muted when the combat was occurring, but now that things seem to have calmed down, it is very clearly lit up. It's rotating, seemingly trying to get attention, and there is a sign hanging, like an old-fashioned inn sign, that Zach can definitely make out, that says Mort's Safe Room. And in the O on Mort, it has an eye patch over it, and it's very much stylized, very welcoming. That is on the corner of that build, of the opposite Zach, marked as a blue dot on your map. So now that I've Zach's seen that, is there anything else that changes? And you've all, those of you in the tunnel, have seen it. The only one who hasn't is Alia.
I don't know what everyone else is doing. I'm gonna take the longsword from the hobgoblin.
Good plan.
And I will search him down. I will start, like, while his hands are tied behind his back, I'll start just like pull out my dagger and start like cutting the straps on his armor, and I just want to strip him down to just like his like normal like shirt and pants, take everything off him, and just search him for any weapons that he has, take all of them off him. So whatever he's got, I will just take and just throw into my bag of holding.
So what you get is a longsword, a longbow, a shield, and as you're looking around for like straps to cut on what you would expect on like a leather armor, or some sort of armor, because there's quite a unique look to it that the goblin has on, you find that there aren't any straps to cut, but you are able to easily slip this. Feeling is like leather, but the look of it is almost like a starry field. You're not exactly sure what this is, but it does seem a bit higher quality than anything else that you've seen so far in this experience that you've been on for the last couple of hours, and definitely higher quality than anything anyone in the party is wearing.
I'll make a note of that, but I'll slide it into the backpack. That's a secondary thing. Did he have any arrows on him for the longbow?
Yes, sorry. And you can take 20 arrows, just standard arrows.
Yeah. I'll keep them in the quiver, and those will go in there too. I'll make note of that. Once he is fully like unclothed, just that.
So like that take a while.
He's down to his loincloth.
Yeah,
You're working away at this. You're going to be at it for a little bit.
At that room.
Oh yeah, I will. I'm not rushing. I'm taking my sweet ass time. While I'm doing that, I'd like to just look up at Alia and just under my breath, just at her, just say, "What are you doing?"
So as you're doing that, Rick's going to be at this for looking at the gear and getting it off, and especially from the unconscious, quite surprisingly heavy form. He's going to be at this for at least 20 minutes to do all of that. I'll say at the start of that, he has muttered those words to Alia. What would you like to do while this is happening? Alia, you've been directly brought into this.
I actually wasn't paying attention.
Classic Alia.
You're right next to a skeletal pile of bones with a couple of bags attached to a tattered old ratty saddle. They are right beside you, and Rick has just muttered under his breath, "What are you doing?"
Sniffing out the bags.
All right, so
I will, while still working away, like unstrapping the longsword and sliding into my bag, I'll motion to the goblins and just say, "Don't let that happen again." I'd recommend looking at a few of those spells of yours, and
Well,
just go back to it.
While you're saying that the seemingly inattentive raccoon may decide to pay attention to you, but has fixated onto the bags attached to this pile of bones, and with excitement, gone just rushing over and started grabbing items out, and this excitement quickly turns to like a frown and a disgust, and then the bags just get emptied, both of them in a pile at her feet, because what it turns out, what appeared so promising on the surface, it looks like essentially like a cleanup crew is what you've come across that are charged with just tidying up the dungeon. There's just miscellaneous bits of stone and rock, because you've noticed as you've walked through, it's been very pristine and clear of debris. So there's 2 bags of these. There is about 60 pounds of just miscellaneous rubble piled up now, almost reaching the same height as Alia. And then in amongst it, there's 6 or 7 of those blank brass plates that were fixed on some of the tombs, and just honestly bits and pieces of debris. Like another 10 pounds of miscellaneous rubbish.
No.
What would you like to do with
the rubbish?
The
Going in my bag of holding.
All right, so put into your bag of holding. You've got around 60 pounds of rock debris of various sizes, 6 brass plaques, and you can have 10 pounds of garbage, trash, whatever you want to call it. Miscellaneous trash.
How do you add things
dungeon.
in there?
Because we're syncing up with D&D Beyond, if you go into D&D
that's
Beyond,
where I'm in D.
Yeah, so you can go into inventory and add a custom item I think it's manage inventory or search inventory.
Trash.
If you don't get it now, I'll make sure I get you sorted before next session. All right, so the raccoon has had the worst Christmas present ever from the horse. Rick is still working away, stripping the hobgoblin down to its underoos. Zach was trying to entertain Ivy. Ivy is trying to stabilize desperately still these goblins and is traumatized.
Oh no.
Bocchionis, before I get back to Zach, because he had something he was doing, what are you up to?
I said to Ivy that I was going to return the goblins to their quote unquote spawn point.
I missed that.
Yeah. So Focky's dragging the 3 goblins around the corner back to where the unbeknownst to him because he didn't pick that up at the time, fake.
Yeah. Look, you can easily pick up and carry those 3 goblins. No problem at all. They're just stacked like blocks of wood. Yeah. You had a little bit of work to do from the one that was furthest from you on your side to get the arrow out of its eye socket. But you are able to pull that from the stone.
I drag all 3 of them past like the raccoon I handed the arrow.
Well, that's exactly it. You're carrying them around. You get to the concrete and you try and kick the lid off, and just find that it just will not budge. So you're just making sure Ivy's still not in sight. Just stack them like blocks of wood behind the concrete.
Doing that, I might take a cursory look to see if there's anything of use on any of them.
Out of what's left behind that's actually salvageable is really only the equipment from one of the goblins. So you do get some from the second one. The third one is just shredded to pieces from the thorns. So you do get a scimitar. A short bow.
Ooh, yes, please.
2 sets of just leather armor, nowhere near as flash as what the hobgoblin had. And 1 shield.
In disgust as I throw all those into my bag of holding, I go, not even a protein bar.
No, not even a protein bar.
I, of course, shove those other things in my bag of holding.
Yep, so now we've got... Yep. Now, and remember with your bag of holding that anything that goes in there we're not counting the encumbrance of it, and anything that goes in there will not rot, decay, cool, heat. So it goes in and comes out in the exact form that it goes into that bag in, as long as it can enter the bag.
Nice.
All right. So, Zachary, you were noticing that blue light with the really welcoming, like almost old-timey pub sign. And you had the big dump of information with your intelligence, it is enough to remember that there was mention made of some dungeon levels having safe rooms in the amount of info that you were trying to process during trauma at the beginning of this event. Do with that as you will.
So like, yeah, I'm just switching through minor illusions with Ivy, and I just leave it on one because I can only conjure static images. I just like leave one there that I don't know, seem pretty cute, like yeah, Baby Yoda or something, and then I like cautiously move sort of towards the blue light and yeah, have a look, like sort of investigate it.
Yep. Okay, so as you come up to the light, it literally looks, when you get closer to it, it appears that you can't see where the power source is coming from, but it does look like one of those single rotating lights that appear in cop shows that get thrown up on the dashboard during exciting plainclothes police car chases, is what is mounted onto the wall. It is right up at the top. It is out of reach. It is quite high up on the roof. Towards the juncture with the roof, but it appears to be one of those police lights rotating around now very brightly, especially when you're this close. It is now flickering the space with that rotating blue light, and the sign is exactly as you saw it. And now that you're a bit closer, you can see that there is an arrow pointing further down the hallway, marked on the wall. So it's pointing, if you're from the direction you're facing, it's going down, so going south. And you can kind of see that there's a door. You what? Sorry?
Can I like go up to the door and sort of like stealthily open it a little bit and peek in?
Yeah, you can. The door's not locked; it's ajar. It's not fully open. It's ajar, and it's got sort of a shimmer to it, but your head easily passes through it without any kind of pain. When you're looking from the hallway side, the inside kind of looks quite opaque, almost like you're looking through to the bottom of a swimming pool where the surface has been disturbed. When you stick your head through, it all comes into perfect clarity, and it actually looks like someone has repurposed the inside of a Hungry Jack's or Burger King, for international people, restaurant, for the familiarity of what it looks like to you with the service counter. There's booths. Some of the booths are in the shape of the really old 80s hamburger booths that Hungry Jack's and some still do have. There's the ugly red plastic chairs. There appears to be a few like doorways and markings kind of just around the corner out of sight, but for all intents and purposes, it looks like you've stuck your head into a Hungry Jack's, with the one major difference being that there is the wall opposite you, as opposed to all the restaurant stuff, there is a ornate, it looks, you don't know the exact timber, but it looks like it could be oak. It's very high quality. It's stained timber bar, and behind it there is just a wall of spirits, just from floor to ceiling. You can't make out the exact labels, but it's definitely clear that they are alcohol bottles. There's a large yellow Funshine Bear Care Bear. If you're not familiar with the Care Bears, you won't recognize what they are, but you can see this yellow stuffed bear sitting on the counter at one side. It's like one of those oversized ones you get at carnivals for prizes. That's what you can see with your head. Your head stuck through. I imagine Zach would with his age.
I popped my head out and was like, say, like, guys, I think I found one of those safe rooms they're talking about. And then I just step in.
All right. So Zach has stepped into the safe room. Nothing happens. It appears to be exactly as advertised. A little bit of trepidation as you come through, but you come in and grab a seat at one of the booths while you wait to see what your rest of your party does. I'll describe the rest of the interior when everyone else gets there to save doing it twice.
I'm going to stroll down there.
All right, so kicking a few of the stones that just weren't worth putting in the bag. Alia, in front of her as she goes down the hallway, Alia makes her way down all the way into the safe room. Yep. So just straight through the not even bothering to see if it's the right door or the door behind is the one that Zach may have gone through. But she just sees the shimmering space. Can't quite see Zach, but just walks in. Seems like the place to be. By this time, Rick, you will have finished with the hobgoblin. You've left him with the shallow breathing. All right.
I'll wake him up.
You've woken up the hobgoblin.
He's tied up.
Yep.
He has no armor or anything.
Yep.
He's sitting there, all tied up. I'm very calmly. I'm just gonna say, in Goblin, as slowly as I can, trying to ignore everything that just happened. I'll deal with them later. What's your name?
All you get in return is just it attempts to spit a gob of phlegm in your face. The goblin, even though being a bit disoriented from near death and waking up, there is no good intent in your direction.
That's fine.
It's glowering around. It appears to be like they're bound behind its back and feet are bound as well. Appears to be testing the binds to just figure out its exact situation and looking around and seeing the others as well.
Can't do anything. I'm Rick. The rest of my friends. Are you? Do you? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to ask these questions. Your friends, the three, short. Were they friends of yours? Were they co-workers? Were they? What were they to you? Family?
Bring your kids to work day.
Oh God, I hope not.
The goblin is just now getting its bearings a little bit. Looks up at you, bewildered, almost trying to figure out the.
I'm sitting. So he's probably against the wall. I'm sitting on the ground with my backpack behind me, sort of leaning on it, cross-legged, with no weapons or anything, and just like munching on like a piece of like dried meat, like some jerky from my rations. Very non-threateningly. I just want to have a conversation with him. Not gonna hurt him.
And then he's just looking at you. Go, what's it worth to you? You've got a response. You can see that this is not a stupid creature. It's now ticking over its situation. Definitely no love for you at all. But it's not buying into a happy fireside chat.
Look, we're not friends. I won't make that kind of assumption. But I would say that me and you, sorry, this is so informal. Do you have a name or at least a title that you prefer to be called during a sort of discussion or negotiation, whatever this is? What should I refer to you as? Just, for pleasantries out of the way first.
You can see it thinking over whether it wants to engage
Tony.
Let's
just call you Tony.
And then deciding that it appears there's some sort of decision reached and just almost like dragging its soul from its body, just glamour.
I'm gonna be honest here, glamour. I was not expecting that, but you, congratulations, are now my second favorite person I've met since this whole thing started. That's including every single person I'm here with. Congratulations, glamour. Because the only difference between you and most of them is I haven't seen you murder anyone yet. So that's good. Glamour. Glamour is it? Is Fokionis or anyone else still with me?
Yeah, Fokionis and Ivy are still with you.
This is my friend Ivy. She's lovely.
Oh, actually, no, sorry. I apologize. Fokionis, last we saw him was around stacking the goblin bodies.
Yep. Yeah. Fokionis is around here somewhere. He'll be back. The other two you don't need to meet because they're not nice people. We don't like them anymore. Glamour. Now, I will not presume to be your friend, Glamour. I'd like to be, eventually. I'm not here to make enemies. I'm just trying to get home. You said earlier... No, sorry, I apologize. You asked a question. I'm getting so far ahead of myself, Glamour. I'm not used to talking to hobgoblins. In Goblin. This is new for me. I was in Edinburgh a couple of days ago. So, You asked what it's worth. Well, I'm not going to hurt you. I might knock you back out and leave you here, but you're not going to die. At least not at my hands, or if I have anything to say about any of my party. Although, given what happened with the rest of your allies, I might not have that much to say about it, apparently. So that's new information.
While this is happening, the hobgoblin has been looking around and noticed that Ivy is still almost semi-prone behind, and it's all bound, but actually tries to flick the body back and makes an attempt to bite at Ivy's leg behind.
Hey, cut that! Oi, hey, Glamour. Okay, you got a cool name. Don't be a dick, right? Okay, come on. We're trying to talk here. Fucking hell, she's nice. We like her. Okay, Glamour. Look, the way I see it, you've got two options. You can have a quick chat with me. I'll leave you here. I'll leave you with some food. I don't know. Do you have like a food? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll leave you with some food just in case. Might even leave you with a knife sort of out of reach so you've got something to grab. And I'll go on my way. Right? We have a quick chat. I'll leave you here. Not a problem. Or you come with me and we have an extended chat and I might make you some better food. You might even get this shiny armor back and your sword and shit. I just had some questions, Clever. So if you can
Get
answer
to the
for me.
point, meat sack.
Okay, we're both made of meat, Clemmer. Actually, that is a good question. Are you that's not... What are you... I know you're a hobgoblin. I don't mean to offend. I'm so sorry.
At this point, the
are you?
babbling that has been coming from Rick and seeing that there's... seeming to come to a decision that there's really nothing more to be done from his point of view. The goblin makes a kind of a grimacing motion and foam just begins to come spewing out of its mouth. Whatever it's done is ingested something, and the foam
Really
begins
quick, can
frothing
Ivory
down
start using Spare
the
the Dying
hobgoblin's
on-
chest and immediately dissolves everything that it touches. So essentially, if you hadn't have stripped all the gear off it, that would all be gone as well. But Glamour is not even a skeleton left. There's a couple of bones left from the hand, that the fleshy hands that are left there behind where whatever that foam was didn't reach.
That didn't seem like my plan was a good bad idea.
The length of rope, how much rope you use to tie Glamour has been dissolved as well. So if that was your full 50 foot, it's gone, but just make a note of however much you used to tie him up. But the goblin you were attempting to converse with had no love for you, was really just looking for a way out. And whatever it was you were trying to do, not exactly sure what led to it, but he has made the decision to trigger that, whatever it
Failsafe
is that took or activated, that just dissolved. It's gone. There's a couple of hands on the ground.
Okay. I will stand up and put my backpack on. I will go over and help Ivy up.
Yep.
And I will... Can I still see the psychopathic raccoon of death?
No, while you were stripping the corpse, Alia, the raccoon of death, had already just sidled past you, kicking a rock down the hallway, very annoyed, and she headed down towards the safe after Zachary,
and
has disappeared from sight.
This whole time there's like this static picture of like baby Yoda with drinking from a cup.
Just doing that.
Just a little bit.
No, it's static. It's not moving.
Oh, static.
I will yell down the hall in the direction she went for Alia, and ask her to come grab Ivy, please. I don't know if she can hear me or not.
Yeah. So what you hear inside the safe room is kind of like that muted, kind of half underwater sensation, but you can definitely hear Rick's voice and you can make out what he's saying. It's just that little echoey kind of water effect, but you definitely make out Alia. You can hear him calling you to help with Ivy. What do? Do you go back and
I'll go help?
Yeah. So with your...
I'll go grab her and bring her into the safe room.
Yeah.
I don't say anything to her. The moment Aaliyah comes around the corner, I walk off to go find Fock. And give him a hand.
Okay, yep. All right. So, Ivy, are you happy to go with Alia and just be guided down to the safe room?
No, Ivy makes it pretty difficult. Her hands are still outstretched, and she keeps repeating, "I can save them. It's okay. I can save them. They'll respawn. They'll be fine. I
So
can
the,
save them."
the
No
raccoon
different to
and
Saturday night.
the
No different to Saturday night.
And as you guys are
Literally.
doing that, it's back and forth and up and down and side to side. But eventually, the Alia, the service raccoon, performs her role and gets Ivy into the safe room, barely even noticing that she's walked into this through the shimmering doorway, and also not even really recognizing the fact that she's in the most earthly looking space that anyone has seen since entering the dungeon. And now we go back to Rick, who has come around the corner to find Fokionis just finishing up stacking the goblin bodies and sliding what appears to be a curved sword into his backpack, into his sack. What would you guys like to do?
And then
I will reach into my backpack, like slide it off, and I will pull out the hobgoblin's shield and just sort of proffer it to the half-orc.
The half-orc goes, "Oh, that looks good, bro.
I don't know if you can use it, but I don't need it, and the others seemingly can't. I have a longbow and a longsword. I think Alia, no, sorry, not Alia, the elf one, Ivy, she could probably use them, but I feel like you'll be more inclined.
I seem to keep getting hit, so a shield could be good.
Cool. You all done here?
I think so. These things aren't real. I just put them behind.
Saving face, I guess. Thank you for listening before. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Anyway, the others probably make sure they don't murder and eat each other.
I could do with a stiff drink and I sit down for a minute, maybe.
Yeah, same. I could do with a whole lot more than that. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
Party.
And so with that, Rick and Fokionis make their way into the safe room. So now that you're all in and you're able to kind of take a breath, the space feels safe. Did anyone shut the door behind you? So there's a shimmering layer, and then there was a door that was ajar that Zachary has pushed open and left open for everybody else.
I'm through last, and I shut the door.
Yep. So the door's just been shut behind. It's just a plain white timber door, simple latch mechanism. Doesn't appear to have a lock on it that you can see at this stage. So as you look around the room, as already mentioned, so you've got the essentially 100 inside of an old-fashioned Hungry Jack's. Appears to be a working kitchen. There is definitely a very unusual-looking, full-sized, floor-to-ceiling bar that is absolutely stocked with hundreds and hundreds of bottles of liquor and possibly more out of sight. There's beer taps on the counter. They're just voluminous amounts of alcohol there. Very odd, out of place, very large, around the same size as Alia. Care Bear, yellow, bright yellow, Funshine Bear. Appears to be like a carnival stuffed one sitting at one end of the counter. And the rest of it looks like that regular restaurant. The only thing that really, or not the only thing, but one thing that also that stands out as being very different is that where you would normally have the restrooms. And you notice when you come in here that the space is much larger than what it appeared from the outside. So there's definitely some spatial anomalies happening in the safe room. There's quite a number of the shimmering sort of doorways, but they're not that opaque see-through. They've got like a solid sheen through them that you just cannot see through. So that's still that sort of whitey look, but it is definitely like a privacy screen as opposed to the pool surface that you had at the safe room door. But the one that does appear to be enterable, there's a restroom door, and you know that it's a restroom door because for the humans amongst you, and most of you were with them once, you are familiar with like the male and female and the wheelchair access, etc., symbols that are used on toilets generally almost worldwide. different versions of them, and there's an LED screen above this doorway, and it's cycling through like your depictions that you're used to of toilets in Australia or the world. But then also in amongst there's some very clear silhouettes of one of them has some horns growing out of its lower jaw that is very clearly a bigger figure to indicate a half orc. There is a small raccoon silhouette very clearly indicating a raccoon, and you all quickly come to the realization that this is a restroom. It is a private space that, as was mentioned in the start of this this session, the start of the dungeon, and when everything went to shit. So you do have, each of you, and essentially an instance bathroom there where whenever you enter in, only one of you will be in there at a time, and it'll be whatever you have as your particular needs. I guess we'll get to that if anyone visits it. And as you're kind of getting your bearings and looking around, what you thought or what appeared to be a stuffed toy on the bench just lets out an almighty fart and sort of belches and scratches its ass and sort of moves into from a hunched over position into a sitting position. And then when it comes up, you notice that what you couldn't see before because the voluminous folds of the body were hiding it was a half empty bottle of spirits and a very large one. So as it sits up and is making all these disgusting actions, the bottle gets knocked over onto the floor, and the Care Bear catches the glass that was beside it and takes a swig of that, sort of seems to hit the reset switch, and takes a sniff and looks around and goes, fuck. Yeah. Another bunch of crawlers. And that's where we're going to leave it till next week. You made it safe. Well done, everybody.
Survived.
Yay. Can we consider this to be a long rest?
Do we level up?
You have not leveled up yet? No, you haven't reached a level up milestone yet. I'll let you know when you do. You
short rest, long rest.
For the sake of speeding things up for next week, next session, yes, you will. You're in a safe room. It is a space where you can take a long rest, set yourselves up with that, but it'll be explained a little bit more next week as you get the chance to find out what the hell's going on with what you thought was a stuffed animal sitting on the bench top. That wasn't a stuffed animal. It was just drunk and unconscious, apparently.
Teddy bear.
And very cute. Yeah, and if you could please hit that long rest in D&D Beyond, just in case the updates I need to do between now and next week break anything, then I can just bring your characters back in.
I don't need to do
that. You used spells, so you definitely want to get your spells back. Oh, but you didn't do them in D&D. Okay, you did them in Foundry. I'm with you. I just saw Lily's question. Next session, the goblins will respawn, right? Well, I can answer that for you, Lily. And I guess Ivy will just have to find out. No, the goblins, they're dead. To the best of your awareness and knowledge, especially the one. Oh, you didn't get to. Did you get to see the one dissolve into the floor? I think you did.
The hobgoblin smoothie.
Yes, like that. And Drew says hi.
Drew.
Hey, Drew.
Drew Blue Star says hi, Lily.
Damn it, Drew, you should be in school right now.
There you guys are all in your safe room.
Actually, it's Sunday.
Sunday?
Winnie the Pooh costume.
Don't call me a child.
Who's got a Winnie the Pooh costume?
You do.
It does look a bit like a Winnie the Pooh costume.
It says Funshine Care Bear. Funshine.
It's a towel. It's a towel.
Hey, I am very happy with my towel dress up. Thank you. It was repurposed. It was saved from when my daughter didn't want it anymore. I wasn't throwing it away. It was too cute.
And surprisingly dry.
I'm going
Yeah, mate. It's had plenty of time to get dry. But well done, everybody. You managed to navigate that. Man, I could not hit some of you guys for all the tea in China with the because they
you hit one thing.
Yeah, it was
That's the
barely.
only reason Rick's still talking to me.
Why are you wet?
It was very, very limited damage from the. I don't think the hobgoblin actually made a hit at all. It was all the arrows that struck, or maybe he did do one hit.
I only killed 3.
Spar, in terms of things that we have collated then in our bag, did you want us to distribute anything between sessions, or do you want us to wait until next session?
You look, the only one that we will need to deal with that has any kind of specialness to it is that leather armor that Rick has a hold of.
Yeah.
So if you guys actually no, leave it till we get back. We'll because it's not that much, and I would like to leave it just because Rick has already made mention to you that he has some items that he thinks that Ivy would find useful. So we'll let that play out.
Is that shield of any great? Just a shield.
It's just a shield. When you look up shield, it is just the base. I think it's +1 or +2 to AC shield.
Yeah, at this stage, given that my AC is 14, I'll take whatever.
Well, I'm interested to see the barbarian with a shield cutting loose.
Back. We'll use it as a discus.
You don't get the bonus unless it's on your arm. I found that out with when I got in trouble trying to do that with luggage.
Just like New World, bloody hell.
All right, thank you very much.
Good night.
Night, Racer.
Good boy.
Good night.
Well, that's a +2.
For those of you in chat, just very quickly, I'm going to say thank you very much. Go say good day to Goonie. Give him some love. He's a great dude and enjoy his stream. And we're going to hit raid and then we're going to wrap up. And if you want to see any of the wrap up stuff, if it's interesting, I'll put it on the YouTube video. So ! YouTube, go subscribe to that, get the updates and you'll get all the info there. Thanks for the hang, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. That was so good. I just imagine Rick being so mad.
Just grumpy all the time.
It's not it. Like there was a very brief moment where it went from Rick being mad to Jay being mad. Because like as someone who has played full campaigns, never murdering someone, I know how easy it is to just not murder. And to watch two of you just straight out be like, let's turn into paste. There was a brief moment where I was like, the fuck? You're so sociopaths.
You could have left the 3 of them asleep, but no, you pushed the horse onto them.
Yeah, fair.
So
Look,
Zach tried. I'm just saying.
If
anything, you're responsible for all 3 of the goblins' deaths.
I will
because they were all unconscious and.
Like the raccoon,
and the hobgoblin as well. You literally bored him to death. So Rick murdered
the hobgoblin. I don't know what the fuck went on with the hobgoblin. Apparently, cyanide is a thing. I guess I don't know.
In this universe, yeah.
Apparently, hobgoblins just got and is carrying cyanide around.
It was a cyanide, so it wouldn't have dissolved from cyanide.
It was something. But yeah, no, like the raccoon I understand, because she's a fucking raccoon. And she has different morals. You're just a dude.
But you've also got a lot of,
what's with the button
all of that trauma that you've had. Like, these guys, your characters, have only walked into the portal, maybe 2 hours ago.
It's run by something that literally killed billions of people on the planet a few hours ago. And last time we met it wanted bloodshed.
I hope that your characters can get to have these conversations too.
Alright, yeah, we'll save it for next time.
No, you don't. You don't. Oh, look,
Rick will not
that's
be
up to you.
speaking to Zachary anytime soon.
What?
Rick,
D&D Beyond question for anyone.
Rick is genuinely considering just leaving this group behind and going off on his own. He doesn't want to deal
You're
with this.
bloody running off in front of us all anyway. If I am I expecting to see a change in my armor class with the leather armor? Because it says AC 11.
What's your dex mod?
My mod.
Your dexterity modifier, yeah.
Yeah, +2.
And your con?
+2.
+2.
Okay.
So leather armor would be bad.
So when you the way that barbarians work, when
Yes.
you're not wearing armor or a shield, you get
Yes.
to add your dexterity and con together for a total
You get
of
it with a
14.
shield as well.
Oh, you do get it. Barbarians
Yeah,
can hold a shield.
shield is +2. So if I equip the shield, because I'm just playing around, if I equip the shield, it goes up to 16. But if I equip the leather, it doesn't do anything.
That's because you don't have proficiency with leather armor, so you don't get
Gotcha.
your dex mod to it. So you're actually better with no armor and the shield.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. All good.
Is sort of like the highest armor class version of you at the moment.
I'll put it back.
Unless you find half plate or something.
Yeah, unless you find
Yeah,
like some really good armor, you're better off with none.
No. Cool.
I do think that some of the subclass abilities you can get don't work if you're wearing armor too, so you're just better off without it and just picking up better
Oh,
shields
they work
or like
in medium armor, don't they?
they might.
So
I'd
leather
have to
armor
check.
would be
I
considered
mean,
lighter.
maybe.
Leather armor's light, but yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
But unless you get heavy, there's pretty much no reason for you to put armor on unless you
No.
get some
Cool.
decent
I was
heavy
just
armor.
curious to know why. But yeah, that all makes sense.
Barbarians are all about that
Taking
naked
damage.
life.
Monks are really good in armor. as
Yeah,
well.
monks
I
are
mean-
great in armor. There's nothing better than putting a monk in armor. You don't need armor.
No, full plate. You could do it. Just
Dude, that
lose all class
defensive stance
ability.
you took saved you so much damage when you were the focal point of those attacks. It was really
when
good.
I made when
Bro,
like me and
they
Egg
could
had
have
that
been
little
asleep. Like,
but when
I'm
Egg
just-
was like, why don't you just attack him? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I missed both. I was so genuinely angry that I missed. Because I was like, I could have just dodged. He was focusing on me. Why would I attack? Like,
Yeah, you provoked him. You had his attention. No one
Rick-
else was really.
Rick doesn't want to hurt this guy. Like, this is just an innocent hobgoblin. He's doing his thing. We're doing our thing.
I'm
Fucking,
sorry, Rick, but he looks ugly, and ugly races must die. That's
Great. Zachary's a murderer and a racist. This is awesome.
no, that's.
And then
my
when you like, because the skeletal horse is vulnerable to bludgeoning damage, so when you did that, like, it just that
Yeah.
attack, it had a decent health pool, and that just fucking slammed that horse. Not that it was going to do a lot of damage, but I thought it might be a little bit tankier in the encounter. But oh man, the double damage bludgeoning. I was happy with the encounter, but I was like, oh, because it could have gone very differently if more of the attacks had hit.
Yeah.
But I can't control that.
Monk, baby.
Yeah.
I love my monk. Anyway, I'm going to go play some Destiny and think about my choices tonight.
Look, you, Rick did his darndest.
Uh,
That
it-
hobgoblin was just whatever was going on there. The imperative was not to continue engaging. That was not the.
I want to
that was
make
not
it
the
clear.
NPC who would carry that further.
I just want to give you a heads up. At every opportunity, Rick will be having a similar conversation with any enemy they come across.
No, you gave
So-
me that forewarning. I am fully prepped for that in my planning.
I would highly recommend having just a list of random names because
just cyanide pills for everyone.
I actually have that. Glamour got a name just because of the armor and the. I was ready with him, but I've got my list of for just that reason for when Rick gets chatty. Because you gave me that heads up,
Rick,
which I think is
look.
going to lead to some interesting things down the line.
Rick wants some fucking answers, and they seem to have them. So
There's a reason you got linguist as well. It was.
I'm so ready to talk to everyone. I can't wait to get to level 4 and be able to pick another feat and just take linguist again. I'll get all the languages.
Get all of the languages. Oh, brilliant. No, that was good fun. That was good fun. I
Mhm.
look forward to seeing where things go from here, from the safe room on. It was good.
Kids. Yeah, that's very convenient how the horse did like just enough damage to wake everyone up, but not any more
Look,
than
there was
necessary.
so much got
and then-
invested in that conversation of the shove and the hurting the goblin. Like, okay, it got shoved through. It danced on its little hooves because it doesn't want to hurt the goblins because they're all part of the same team.
Yeah, and now so it hits all of them, but
Yep.
it does just one.
Exactly. it may not have gone down that way if the conversation hadn't gone for so long about yes or no.
I can hear the anger in his voice right now. Like just the
Mine or
I'm just saying, Rick's done some things to piss Sack off as well.
Yeah, none of them murder. Like if you like
Dude,
morally,
it's not real.
You say that right before Rick kills you. Rick snaps and is like, righto then, if it's not real, Zachary. Let's fucking go.
I'd love to.
Thank
wake
goodness
up
there's
from
an
this
Ivy
nightmare.
around.
Like, honest, Zach will probably let Rick kill him.
Like I make no aspersions. I hate dungeon crawl campaigns, but this is fun as fuck.
Good to hear. There's a few twists and turns in the story as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes and how it gets there. Oh, that was you're getting your you're sitting in the safe room with the blue light on.
Hey.
That's very cool.